Yo, what is going on, everybody? Sheesh. Welcome to the Regal 30 podcast. I am the host, King Nappy. How's everybody doing? Yo, if you are watching this video, you see the socials in the corner. Follow me on Facebook at Michael J. McNeese. Follow me on Twitter at King Nappy7. On Instagram at NappsandNurture, and on YouTube at NappsandNurture. That is NappsandNurture. How is everyone doing today? I am feeling good. I just made me some coffee. This one is a little. This particular cup of coffee is so it's a little bit much. It's pretty good though. It's one of the K cups, and it's a vanilla biscotti, and then I added a tea bag to it. I like doing this thing where I'll get some coffee and I add a little tea bag to it. Pause on that word. So the tea that I added to it was, what was it? It was like a chai green tea, like a green chai tea bag to it. My gosh, it's amazing. I really like coffee. For those of you who want to get a visual, like I said, man, follow us on and subscribe to us on YouTube at NappsandNurture. It is Wednesday. It is 1:43 p.m. I am feeling really good. Did a few errands today. I am feeling all right. Did a little stretching. You know what I mean? Did I get some breakfast today? I don't think I had any breakfast. I need to get some food. It is way past breakfast time anyway. But I'm a little hungry. I'm a little famished. Bro, I literally was sitting here earlier and I was just like, NBA 2K just crossed my mind for no reason at all. Started jotting down some notes on some stuff that I was seeing and stuff that I remembered. I think I spoke about this in passing on one of my YouTube videos before, but I wanted to do a little podcast video on this. Just seeing this stuff, man, and just the fact that parents, I'm saying we, like I got kids. I have no children, but in the future, me and my wife will be working on some children. So relax, all right, relax. But just seeing the stuff that parents allow their kids to play and have and just purchase and don't really monitor anything, it's a little puzzling. I was looking at NBA 2K. By the way, the instrumental that you guys were hearing in the background, that is made by yours truly. Check us out on SoundCloud at King Nappy7 as well on SoundCloud. One of the biggest things that I always say is sorry about that. Is nothing is what it seems. It's one of the things that I've always kind of had in my mind. People oftentimes will see something and say, oh, it's just that, it's not that big of a deal, or it's just this, it's not that big of a deal. You're thinking too deep, you're putting too much thought into it. And I think we as a society, we're just really big on that. Like, everybody likes to be looked at and perceived as nonchalant, laid back. I don't worry about things, I'm chill, I'm relaxed. And that's cool to a degree. But sometimes I think that people in higher places play into that. And they know that we tend to carry ourselves that way. So they'll play into that. and they can sometimes slide some things into our household that we won't know about because they can bank on the fact that we're so laid back and we won't necessarily care about it. Um, One of the things I was looking at with NBA 2K is just the way how I'm not even gonna say how slick they did it because it's not really slick. It's really obvious. But their demographics tend to be a wide range from men, women, ranging anywhere from I'd say 30, 35 years of age on down to preteens. Um, Most of these kids that are playing, it's gonna be majority of the kids. Most of these kids that are playing this game, they don't tend to really look into deep into anything. Even if they see it, they just generally don't care. They're truly just they just don't care. So a lot of things can slip past them. That's kind of obvious. That's kind of like a red flag in most cases. It'll just slip past them. They won't even care. Let's get into what I had was noticing about 2K. One thing that I was noticing was the names on 2K. Ever since 2010, if I'm not mistaken, they developed the My Career mode. It's a mode where you play as one player instead of playing as each member of the team, and you can switch and alternate accordingly to your liking. In an exhibition mode, they changed it to where you player lock and you lock in as one player, and it's developed over the years to where now they develop storylines, a little more drama. They've gotten celebrities in on some of the scenes, and it's a little more dramatic and a little more drama driven um, over the years. But it was implemented in 2000. I want to say in 2K10 is when it first came out. It was a very simplistic way of showcasing it, and it was more performance driven. It was more based off of your performance, and over the years, it kind of got more into storylines and productions and drama. But with most of the main characters, they've over the last few years, I'd say since I want to say maybe 16, ever since 2016, possibly I could be wrong. They've gone into naming the players for you, and they will give them a nickname that is recorded in most of all the storyline audio, in the in-game play audio and stuff like that, which was weird to me because they have a pool of nicknames that you can choose from on your own as secondary nicknames, and the game will audibly address you as those whenever you're calling out highlights, whenever you pass the ball, when the ball is passed to you, when you make a play, you will hear them call out that nickname. In most cases, um, it's three names that they'll address you by. Pretty much, they'll address you as either the nickname that's given, your real last name, and the secondary. So it's just a little bit overkill so far as name selection, but that's fine. We get to pick a name. But I was noticing just the names they were picking. So the years that I can remember, because there are a few 2Ks that I haven't played, but most of the early ones from 2K 6 or 5, I believe. I played 1 and 2 with AI. I played those. I played 2K. No, that was ESPN. I think that's when ESPN had it, and it was ESPN 2K5. But that one had Ben Wallace on the front. I played 2K6. I played 7, 8, 9 with Kevin Garnett on the front. 10, well, I think it had KB on the front. 11 had MJ. 12. Oh, which one was 12? 12. 2K12. Is that the one with like Bird and like the legends on the front, Magic? I think those that had like Bird and Magic on the front. 13, I think it was Blake Griffin. I want to say like Blake Griffin, KD or something like that. I know it was Blake Griffin and a few other, like 3 other players, if I'm not mistaken. 14 should have been LeBron. 15 should have been. Ooh, I forgot that one. I think that might have been one that I didn't play. 15. I can't think of 15. 16 should have been. Is it Kyrie or is that 17 with Kyrie? I know the last few had Kyrie, Giannis, Paul George. I can't think of it though. But yeah, I've played all of them, and they've made like significant changes to each one every time they release it, and it was just always interesting just seeing the spin and the changes they made, the modifications. But the names from I want to say 16 until now were frequency vibrations, or for short, freak. I hated that one. Hated it. Hated it. It was stupid. Okay. Stupid. The next one was president. Now, I don't know. I don't think these are in order. And some of these aren't necessarily all my player, like your main player name. There are a couple of these that are just like some of the supporting cast members' names. But it was just odd names that I was noticing. But one of them, your name was president. When you played as president, you had a basketball coach in high school that you kept in contact with, according to the storyline. That coach's name, first name was Washington, last name was Falls. Washington Falls. And your name was president. What? You had a teammate as president when you get to the league, played by Michael B. Jordan. Shout out my boy Mike. Excellent actor, excellent, personality for that character. His name was Justice Young. That was, to me, that was a lot. When I heard the main character's name, your character's nickname, I was like, okay, president. All right, that's different. I'll roll with that. When I heard Justice Young, I was just like, what? Okay, I can roll with this. The whole thing was orange juice or OJ. It was so much going on in this game, bro. So far as names and wording, it was driving me up walls. And then you go flashback or you go back to your high school to visit your old coach. And this boy name is Washington Falls. I've been looking around to see did anybody even notice any of this. There's no videos on it. Nobody was really catching on to this. I feel like I was the only one. I'm just like, wait, am I the only one that thinks something's up with these names, yo? Frequency vibrations. One of the main things that I think about when I hear someone mention frequency vibrations is shapeshifting, which is, from what I remember researching, is like a very mild form of allowing a certain spirit of something to cover you. And whatever covered you, that's what you appeared to have shape shifted into. Even though you really didn't, it's just the frequencies allowed this certain spirit of whatever you're thinking about or wanting, or I guess trying to conjure, to cover you. I think it was a story or a quick article about a young lady who dealt with bullying at her school, and she had tapped into something like this, and she, conjured the frequency of a lion, and everybody was fearful of her and ran from her. I don't know how true any of that is. One thing I do know is that frequencies can influence certain behaviors and certain things to happen to you if you open yourself up for it. I was doing research a long time ago on the dopamine sector of the human brain and what makes it tick. I was doing that research for one of my brothers because my brother deals with schizophrenia and paranoia, which is which is a result of overstimulation of the dopamine sector. He overstimulated that particular sector of his brain by excessive weed use. He smoked so much, and that was one particular time he had smoked, and someone placed something in whatever he was smoking, and that it just fried him a little bit, and it made it hard for him to function without becoming super paranoid about what's happening, without his adrenaline kicking in and just throwing him completely off. Um, it was just hard for him to function. So I was doing some research to see what could we do naturally outside of what medications and things like that they were giving him and prescribing to him. What could we do naturally to help? So that's what caused me to research that. I was on YouTube while I was doing that, and there was a doctor who was recommending listening to certain frequencies to help with uh, improved thinking and help with the dopamine sector of the brain. So I turned the video on, and I had never experienced anything like that. I never dealt with any of those kind of videos. My first time being there. And I remember there was just sort of like this vibrating, constant, never ending noise. It was like an 8-hour video, but it was just this noise. And I'm guessing the noise probably progressed more. I don't know. I don't think I only made it through maybe like 2 or 3 minutes of it. I remember checking this video out, and I just remember like my entire body just felt sort of sluggish, but I wasn't tired. It was weird to explain, but I wasn't tired like I want to go to sleep. I just felt sort of like weak, like I didn't have strength. But I could stand, I could walk, and all that. I just didn't have much strength to myself, and I felt my continence and my personality sort of fade a little bit. It was raining outside, and I just suddenly got like this urge to go outside and just walk. So I went outside and I was walking, and I realized something was over me, and I just couldn't completely catch on to what it was. So I started praying. In the midst of while I was dealing with all this, I started praying and talking to God, and He asked me real plain, if you could obtain whatever it is that you want in life by tapping into what you just saw, by tapping into frequencies and vibrations, would you do it? Would you turn your back on me for that? He was showing me in so many ways that you can get those things. Those things are attainable. It's a real thing. There are certain people who tap into frequencies for information, for perceptions, for to deceive somebody. There are people who tap into frequencies to, like I said, learn information about someone else, to gain advantages in certain situations. There are people who use it. They use it to alter their bodies. He said, if you could use this to get what you wanted, Would you turn your back on me and serve this? And I remember thinking, no. And as soon as I said no, everything that I was feeling left me. And I got my strength back and I just felt normal again. But I knew something was over me. And I know I'm getting off track and I'm getting way down, downfield with this, but so far as frequency vibrations, that's what comes to mind. You're dealing with stuff that is beyond us. You're dealing with spirits and you're dealing with frequencies and celestial things that are beyond you. I thought that was a super odd name to place on a basketball game. Rated for kids. What is it, E for everyone? Or teen or something like that? President. Why? President, Washington Falls, Justice Young. Super weird. The one that I recently played, I think that was on 19. AI. Artificial intelligence. What is going on? Why are y'all choosing these names? So it makes me feel like, because my thought process is this: if I have a ill agenda or agenda that the people may be opposed to, getting support and crowdfunding would be difficult if they knew that that was the agenda. So if I don't tell them that that's the agenda, come out with something that they like, which is entertainment, which is being entertained and being find themselves busy doing sort of mundane activities, and we find a lot of our identity within a video game, why not throw it in there? They probably won't even care. They probably won't notice. Well, we can literally tell them what we're getting ready to do and they won't notice. We can tell them what's getting ready to happen to this country and they won't even know. There's some things that we'll get to that. I don't even want to skip ahead and get ahead of myself. AI, artificial intelligence. Why is this a name in a video game for a basketball character? I don't understand. 2K20 released. I didn't buy it and I refuse to buy it because it's stupid. It was released and had all kind of glitches. They got a freaking jackpot machine and some sort of casino interface on there. It's supposed to be rated for everyone. You got kids on here and you got this gambling aspect. And you know what that does to a young person, impressionable brain, where you throw in slot machine sort of aspects in a game where pay to win, you know what you're doing. And there's been a number of people who reviewed it and were pissed about it on YouTube that I watched. Angry Joe being one of them, called it out bluntly, was just like, something is wrong with you guys. You guys are that money hungry where you will stoop to this level where you're exposing kids to casino concepts and slot machines, that's not right at all. So no, I'm gonna buy 2K. Plus, it's just stupid. It's literally 2K19 wrapped up in a 2K20 package. Got a friend of mine, he said he downloaded the game on computer on his PC. When it got done downloaded, the logo said 2K19. They hadn't even updated the logos yet. It was the worst, laziest hack of a reskin job I'd seen in a minute. It was stupid. The main character nickname on there, I don't know what his real name was, but his nickname was Shay. Like a French sort of thing going on, but CHE. Now, I know 2K ain't just picking stuff for no reason, so I want to know what the hell this is. What is this about? Is it an acronym for some sort of organization that's doing something stupid? Probably. I looked up Shay. What I found on it that first popped up was it was a film from 2008 about a Marxist revolutionary, Ernesto Che, I think is Guevara. Guevara. So I started looking. I don't know much about politics and things like that. I'm not real savvy when it comes to politics or in economics and things like that. But from the little bit that I read and that I can try to figure out with my little brain is with Marxism. With Marxism, it looks like it's a standpoint where they sort of frown upon capitalism, and they believe that capitalism is the reason that is a bit unnecessary. I think the thought process they try to come with, and it's from what I hear, there's multiple types of Marxism as well. So, like I said, this is a very dry and very uneducated thought process on Marxism. This is just me reading it for the first time and trying to get the gears rolling upstairs in the brain. I got some coffee, but it may not help much. But it looks like they look at capitalism as in a sense of people no longer value and take pride in their work because of how high production has become. With capitalism, and especially in the US, you can produce so much, you know what I mean, in so little time. And the workers aren't really valued as they may have been at one point in time. They're easily replaceable and dispensable. Technology has come in and replaced people. So you see a high employment rate and you see the morale go down in communities and nations. And you see people no longer finding their identity through their craft or through their work. They're finding their identity through the items they can buy from working. So people no longer take pride in their work. They just want to hurry up, get it done so that they can get the check and buy the items that make them feel valuable. With our entertainment industry and the media, with celebrities pushing out the products that they push out and advertising and things like that, people definitely identify themselves with the items that they have. People identify themselves with their phones, by their clothing, and what kind of car do you drive, what kind of job do you have, not based on like your craft and your work, but the dollars that it produces, which in the end gets you the items and the materials that you want. And from what I was reading, the theory or that standpoint, the Marxist standpoint, sort of points out that people identify themselves through materials instead of through the actually having pride in the craft of their work. How true that this is, I'm not sure. How much this has evolved over the years since it was brought up. I think this was brought up in 1818, if I'm not mistaken, by Carl. But like I said, this is the information that I was able to find on it. How accurate it is, not sure. But going back to 2K, the name Shay, they not putting that name in there for no reason. They're just not. Where's my coffee? I need a sip. I got a little bit of cacao powder in there. It gives it a nice creaminess too. It's not a whole lot of cream that I can have, or at least good ones. Like I can use almond milk, soy milk, coconut milk, stuff like that. But it just don't have that same effect that regular milk had. Well, I'm not even gonna say regular milk, coffee creamers, because it seemed like I can get, even when I wasn't vegan, I was able to go and get regular milk and pour it into some coffee, and it wouldn't cream up the same way. I think it was just that fat content that was in a lot of the creamers had a high fat content, so it used to just be thicker and just creamier and just good. I haven't really been able to find any coffee creamer alternatives that are just nice and creamy like that. Oat milk a little bit, but I don't think it's the fat content. It's something else that's making it do that. I'm not sure. Not sure if it's the starch or something like that. I don't know. We're talking about coffee creamers. What are we doing here? NBA 2K. That's what we came to talk about. Those are the names that I can remember. I think somebody else's name was DJ. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. What is that? Department of Justice. Nothing is for no reason on these games. I want to go back to these older 2Ks and just check out the soundtrack because that's what I'm getting ready to talk about now. Is the soundtrack for 2K11 and 2K11 in particular because it was a sort of a theme through the entire soundtrack. There were a few songs that were a little bit off, but every song had like these really deep underlining messages in it that was just simply lost in really good production of a beat, short attention spans of the youth, constant, you know, building and progressing of your character on the game. Like you're constantly trying to play the game. You're not really paying attention to the songs. Some songs you may be familiar with, but on here there were a lot of songs that people probably just weren't familiar with that well. One of the songs that people are familiar with is the song that was associated with I'm about to say Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan's interest, interest music. That was a song that was associated with his music, his interest music. I don't know if it was something that he was normally introduced to or normally introduced by, or if they did it occasionally or what. But I do remember this song being used. And if I was to play this song, people would know exactly what that song was associated with. It was called Sirius, the Alan Parsons Project. Which I thought that was a weird name for a group as well. There's a lot of weird group names, just point blank period. But I'm probably do some research into that and look further into it. But the overall theme for this entire soundtrack was constellation, celestial, stars, planets, space. That was the constant theme on this soundtrack. Sirius, the Alan Parsons Project, is what is that? The Dog Star. It's a certain constellation, if I'm not mistaken, that's shaped like a dog, just like Sirius FM or XFM, whatever, the satellite radio. You know what I'm talking about. Stop that. Sirius Radio, the satellite radio. I think it's a dog. That's a logo. Because, of course, it's satellite radio. It's in space. Why not use the dog star as a logo and name it Sirius FM? That was the first one. Next song is Rocket Ship by Big Rock Candy Mountain. Let me see here if I can pull up some of these lyrics here. I got a bottle in my pocket. Well, it's a rocket. It's about to go off on a interstellar highway. Away, away, away to the planets far from the same. Sending it away, away, away. My rocket ship is magic. I'm sending it to passage. My rocket ship is magic. I'm sending it to passage. It pushes down, it goes up there in the atmosphere. Past the belt of Orion, it's fading. What? What are we talking about? This was this was like pretty much what are we talking about? Next song was Skeleton Dance by Children Collide. Let's see here. What is that name anyway? And I used to love this song. I thought it was so catchy, and I used to love singing this little song. Cause I used to sing it on my stream whenever an anonymous cheerer would come in and cheer some bits on my stream. It says, I feel anonymous, anonymous, anonymous in here. I feel conspiracy, conspiracy, conspiracy of fear. I want to see the top, but I want you to stop. I want to see the top. I want you to stop. It sounds like somebody wants to keep progressing further and further into something, and someone else is trying to warn them, you need to let this go. You need to stop this. You're just another drop in the ocean, but you want to be a star in the sky. Like, just about every song makes some sort of reference to stars or the sky, planets, space. In the water, in the water, in the water, it's a crime. And in the mirror, in the mirror, in the mirror, I'm a liar. I want to see the top. I want you to stop. What? And I used to love this song, yo. It was like just the rhythm and the beat of it and all that was just catchy. Uh, it was catchy, and I used to sing it a lot. Like I said, I sung it whenever I did my cheer. You know, people cheered anonymous cheers to my channel. I would sing that song. We're here to save the day by the constellations. That's another one. We're the stars that shine so bright we bling in cars. We're not afraid to say we're here to save the day. The verses on that song were out there, yo. Let's pull it up. Well, take no prisoners. This is war of the mind. And we're coming for your sons and daughters. It's our time to shine. Take your radio, throw it down, shatter it on the floor. There's nothing else I need to hear, and I just can't ignore. Your candy coated, bloated ego, platinum pile of with nothing in your arsenal, pull punches counts as hits. But I've been waiting for so long for a song with just one change. Your verses strike a sounding chorus, you are all the same. We're the stars that shine so bright, we bling in cars and rhyme so hard, the superstars, we're not afraid to say, we're here to save the day. That the sky is full of shining stars along the Milky Way, a living, breathing constellation here to save the day. What? Put it on the shelf. Don't touch that. Like a high soul, but you know it's just ash. Is this a different song? Like a high soul, but you know it's just ash. Go with the flow, you know. I buzz raps. What? That's gotta be a different song. No, that's the same song. I bust rap. No, not a bullet. This is more like a musket, American Revolution with music. What we do here isn't a movement. The earth is moving and we're consumers. So what we do is, oh, okay, I remember this part. Earth is moving consumers, so what we do is we consume earth. Gimme, cause they're so absorbed till our world just passes by. The constellations that y'all ignored have the whole time been sitting in the sky. By the time we combine and align ourselves to form guides and try to help, it is I who will tighten up Orion's belt so y'all can decide yourself. What? Yo, what? But I just sent a chill down my leg. This isn't a basketball game. What does this have to do with basketball? Huh? It says till our world just passes by. And like in parentheses, I'm guessing some ad-libs in the background. So they're like, bye-bye. The constellations that y'all ignored have the whole time been sitting in the sky. Wait, where? But by the time we combine and align ourselves and form guides and try to help, I think it's supposed to be form gods. But sometimes lyric genius be kind of like, maybe botching some lyrics sometimes. So by the time we combine and align ourselves and form guides and try to help, in parentheses it says, save me. It is I who will tighten up Orion's belt so y'all can decide yourself. That's Roth, y'all. What? Roth? Like what? What Roth? Is somebody on a song named Roth? It's probably not. Let me see. Oh, Asheroth. Oh, okay. And that's another thing. Asheroth. Isn't that like an Egyptian like goddess thing? Demonic thing? What? This is a basketball game though. I don't know why this randomly came up in my head, but it did. Song called Hope by Failsafe. They had two songs. These songs were more so like because they had a few songs on here that were like warnings, and then they had some songs on here that were more so like statements like this is what's happening. Let me see, is it the right one? So tell me now the truth. What are we to do when all that's left is what we thought we knew, has no proof and no reason to subside? The lives that we have tried to make our own are tested by a force that is still unknown. It takes one moment for the world to bring you swiftly to your knees. The one component you should never let go of is hope. The view from far away has changed. The road ahead may be long, but the race is not run. Please do not delay, for the battle is not yet won. We will pray for him, my son. It's observed the place I least expect to find a source of comfort in this mess is holding outstretched arms. We haven't found the cure. We're witnessing the human race fighting its own war, but there's still hope. Yo, that's a lot. This is a basketball game. Granted, this one is talking about hope. It's a bit more positive, but all in all, it's a basketball game. There's another song by Failsafe called Only If We Learn. And I used to love this song. I used to sing this song like just in my head. And when I used to be at work, and I used to just like the song. But again, it's another song like talking about possibly what's to come, and just kind of like a warning somewhere. Is it giving up or giving in? Living our lives left unattended is a cardinal sin. We trace it back through the years. We could pin every hope on the future and conceal the tears. But we are the ones to blame. Never again require. Please open our eyes to the world we're setting alight. Pray to God to put it right, put it to right. Time will wait for no one but itself time after time. That was a part I used to always sing all the time. As the hands unwind, minutes and hours pass, we find ourselves committing the crime. Time will be the end of us all. Is the life we treasured poured out in equal measures? I guess we'll never know. Like, these songs are deep, yo. Like, it's straight concept and content to these songs, but it's placed into a basketball game that little to no one has really brought any light to. I think I'm the only one that I can't think of anybody who's brought NBA 2K11 and say, you know what, something is up with this. What is this? What is this soundtrack? There's a song called "Bow Down to No Man" by Hogney Lisberg. "Downtime" from Kids in Space. "Bow Down to No Man" was basically like talking about religious institutions as well, and saying, you know, I won't bow down to you or your church or any man or any government. It's not over yet by Middleman. That one I was confused about. Let's see. Let's check it out. It's not over yet, because that one was. I used to love that one because it was so energetic, and it just had so much energy to it. I used to just love listening to that song. Let's see here. Please give me something to calm down, because I can't seem to hold it off. You're under my skin and I'm not ready to give in. And it repeats itself. The fuse is lit and someone needs to stop it, not just watch it take our hands out of our pockets. How much do we want it? The fuse skips like the sparks in my vein. The latter stages of frustration, making blood tick in my brain. Like tick tick, time's nearly up, talk. Soon there's nothing to salvage, nothing to count up, nothing to hope for, nothing but outrage. Things are volatile, we're close to detonation. And instead of walking away from the red mist, I'm inhaling. What? Again, I ask, what are we talking about? This is a basketball game. Like, what's happening out here, yo? I haven't really heard many songs that caught my attention. They kind of took a step back and sort of done more so mainstream songs that just come out that everybody knows. But this one was strange to me because it seemed like so purposeful how it was done. And it was. "Crown of Thorns" by Aloe Black, and is it Raka? "Downtime." It was a song just kept saying, "Give me all your downtime." And it was basically talking about a guy and a girl, but just how the song came about, it would come across, and I'm just like, "Give me all your downtime." But it puts me in the thought process of like how certain games, like, it commands it. You get a new Call of Duty game where you gotta grind to earn levels and to get new skins and stuff like that, and get new, little trinkets and little upgrades for your weapons and level up and badges and all these reward systems. All you're gonna do and be able to do is to give it all your downtime. I remember just singing that because I just sung what was associated with the game that I grinded. You know what I mean? You don't really think about what's being said. The songs sort of just grow on you, and you don't even really care. You just, it sort of just goes by unnoticed. It was songs that I would have never listened to on my own and just found and played. And I think they knew that and they played into this. It's like, all right, these are songs that these kids will never be exposed to on their own. There's messages in these songs. Let's place this on a video game and let's just see what happens. Let's just see how they respond. And I've been looking on not Facebook, but on YouTube for videos and on the internet. I even asked on Reddit, like, hey, has anybody ever noticed how weird these names are? Has anybody noticed like just the soundtracks? And nobody's really knows. My brother was one of the only ones that was just like, man, bro, I knew something was off with this. Yeah. Low key, that's who I should have called and had on the line with me. Crown of Thorns, Aloe Black and Rocka, So Far by Redland. Let's see what that one's talking about. Should have wrote down just some key points from a lot of these lyrics. I gotta go back and forth. Looking back on all I've done, I hear the voices calling. Boy, did you get what you want, or do you feel you're haunted? Do you fly amongst the stars, or do you feel like you're falling? Wish you could change it all. But it's so far, it's so far, it's so far, it's so far. Looking back at things that I've said, wish I can build a time machine, do the right thing, change the world, take that chance, kiss that girl. So it seems like there's a lot of songs where they're talking to God and feeling remorseful, wanting to do something different, wanting to make a change, wanting to hold on to hope, things like that. It's a lot of songs on here that sort of take that uh, standpoint. But as like I said, there's a lot of songs where it's just like, this is where you are, this is what's happening, this is the plan, or this is the agenda. Like there's a lot of songs that take that narrative and it's just creepy. There's a song called Paul Simon by a group called the Russian Futurist. Let's see here if I can find the lyrics for it. There's this one word. It's called comfort. It's the strangest, most dangerous place I could hide. It's a wonder this cold comfort hasn't hollowed and swallowed you and I from inside. You're my first want on the worst nights. My gut knots up, my heart bursts like a pinata pops. This has gotta stop. Watch the water drop from clouds. It sure rains a lot. And I felt how a heart melts down, so I'm so burnt out, I'm a shell now. It's the worst of lows, it's the first to go. What are these songs, yo? It's the worst of lows, it's the first to go, it's the last to come back when the sun melts the snow. What are these songs, yo? I Can Talk. That was one of my favorite songs. It was one of my favorite songs on that game. I just love the energy that song was like kicking out, and I loved how different it was. This is by a group called Two Door Cinema Club. I used to listen to this song like, man, so long ago. I used to love listening to this. I don't know why, because I didn't understand anything they were talking about, but just the music, the production was really good. Energy was like a high octane sort of energy song. But it says, you won't believe what I tell you. White coats and clever minds will choose. You get a lot from this loose tongue and arrogance. is not appropriate, don't think that this is it. The chorus goes, now I can talk, no one gets off. And I know how'd you like to. Now I can talk, no one gets off. It sounds like from verse 1, there are scientists or like engineers or something like that, but it sounds like some scientists, white coats, and clever minds will choose. And I know just how science just advances, technology constantly advances. We're constantly searching for things. We're trying our best to harvest. I know miles and miles and miles underground. There is it in Geneva? I think it's Switzerland, if I'm not mistaken. But I know miles and miles underground. CERN's been conducting experiments and trying their best to experiment around with dark matter and dark energy. But in order to do that, you have to kick out a lot of energy in order to even be able to pretend to harvest any dark energy or dark matter long enough to study it and see what it does, see how it interacts. And but they're working on trying their best to harvest those things, to further study it, possibly use it in future everyday life. Harvesting dark energy could mean a complete breakthrough in the issue of energy consumption and production. Finding something that in small amounts could possibly power, a small nation for years. That could be extremely epic. Something that they can intertwine, and it's a lot that dark matter and dark energy could possibly bring if harvested correctly in mass amounts. Right now, they've been able to harvest small amounts, but even the amounts that they've been able to harvest, it doesn't last long. They can't keep it too long, and it's all that machinery, all that stuff for just the smallest amount of progress. But once it's figured out, and I believe they will, that's dangerous. But those were some of the songs that I was noticing, and I was just noticing that we got to stop taking everything for face value. We got to stop just assuming that, oh, this means that, that doesn't mean this. This is just this. This is just that. Because nothing is just anything anymore. That's just not a case. That's just not the case. It's people who are in higher places that have ill intentions for us. We think that everything is peaches and cream, and that's what they want you to think. With this recent thing that's been going down, man, with this virus, you know, seeing the direction that we're heading, seeing military getting involved and National Guard being called out, constant disclaimers I'm seeing on photos. I seen a picture of a tank show up, and they was just like, "Oh, this is not here to, to implement martial law at all." And I'm just like, "What are you talking about?" Oh, these National Guards, they're not here to enforce martial law. What are you talking about? Yeah, they may not be here for that, but all it takes is that. And activating them for martial law would be effortless because they would already be there. The fact that you making this disclaimer is hilarious to me. I have to reread that article and see where they were actually local, where this tank actually was. But there's so many things transpiring at one time, and then while all this is going on, we are to remain at home. Something is going on, and it's not just face value. It ain't just this or just that. I mean, look at all this. For those of you who are subscribed to our YouTube channel and on our YouTube channel at NappsandNurture, NappsandNurture, subscribe now. Look at this. This is all notes from NBA 2K. Such a small facet and just a small vessel and carrier of information and agenda, and it's just wrapped in a basketball game. And I think that's what made it stand out more. I think if it was like a skateboard game that's known for having just random crazy songs or something like that, like a Tony Hawk, I probably would have never saw this and paid attention. Even if I played the game, I probably would have been like, oh, it's, it's a skateboard game. Who cares? Look at this, man. Frequency vibrations, President, Washington Falls, Justice Young, Artificial Intelligence, Che. What are these names, bro? What is it supposed to mean? I would love feedback. For those of you watching the video and you see my links and you see my socials in the corner, go check out those socials. Send me some feedback on what you think about this. Hit me up on Facebook at Michael J. McNeese, Twitter at KingNappy7, Instagram at Nap_Nur, N-U-R, NAP_NUR on Instagram. Sorry about that. And YouTube at NappsandNurture. Hit me up. Let me know what you think. I would like to hear people's thought process on this. Because what is this? What is happening here? There's something going on, and we just got to learn how to look a little deeper. We can't be laid back and nonchalant when your friends and family need us the most. We need to pay attention the most. There are people in high places that's been banking on your laid back and nonchalant attitude. They've been banking on it. And we gotta stop allowing them to bank on it and put any and everything out there. We gotta pay attention more. That is it for this segment. I appreciate everybody dropping by and taking a listen. Check out our broadcast. We're on Anchor FM. We're on Breaker. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're on Radio Public, Pocket Cast. Check out any of those platforms and look up the Regal 30. Support our channel. Check us out on Anchor. You can support us for as low as $1 a month. We're going to keep going anyways. But that'd be awesome to get some good old listener support. Lets me know that I'm doing a good job. I'm providing some good content, some good things for you guys to listen to. This is the Regal 30 Podcast. I'm your host, King Nappy. And I will catch you guys later. Peace.